Good afternoon, West and the world. Welcome to your review video for Tuesday, October the 15th, following the lecture this morning on the French Revolution and its long-term legacies. If there was a central organizing theme to this morning's class, it had to do with trying to assess the tension that exists between my claim, which I've repeated several times, that the French Revolution is the singular event in transforming Western political life, and the relatively obvious and ironic historical fact that what the revolution produces in the short term is first an emperor in the form of Napoleon Bonaparte, and secondly, a restored Bourbon monarchy after the Congress of Vienna. How can this be true? How can this existence, this tension, be reconciled between the two? Well, there are a number of things that we can point to. The first of them is the career and life of Napoleon himself. We saw the ways in which Napoleon is himself a child of the Revolution, who understood himself as a project, or as a product, of Enlightenment ideals. This was true of his military career, which was made possible by the Revolution itself. It was also true of the style of his governance, especially when you consider the Napoleonic Code and the restructuring of the French bureaucracy that went on under Napoleon's guidance. It sought, in particular, to make French governance more rational, more even-handed, more efficient throughout the context of all French territory. If Napoleon himself is one product of the Revolution, so are the subsequent revolutions that take place in France and in Europe more generally in 1830 and 1848. Because although the Congress of Vienna attempts to restore a Bourbon monarchy, it attempts to bring about the restoration of the way things had been before the Revolution, it's clear that they are unable to do so. Conservatism cannot win the day with its claim that change must be incremental and guided by the monarchy and the established church. France will be torn apart in 1830 and then again in 1848. And other states in Europe will join in as well, as ideologies like liberalism and nationalism begin to clash with the governing ideology of conservatism. We saw also that although these revolutions produce only minor and very incremental kinds of changes in Europe itself, the French Revolution and this contention over what it means to be a citizen versus a subject has its perhaps most concrete manifestations not in Europe at all, but in other parts of the world, especially Latin America, where we traced in part the Haitian Revolution and the revolutions in Latin America led by men like Simón Bolívar. What we learn is that those claims of citizenship, of equality, the claims or the methods of the Napoleonic Code are applied, are learned, and used in a variety of different contexts, and in some ways to much greater and more concrete effect than they will be in Europe. The transformations, then, that the French Revolution brings about are dramatic and far-reaching. On Thursday, we'll turn our attention to the next great revolution. This one not in politics, but in economics. And it will help us understand, in particular, why it is Great Britain that escapes the revolutionary fervor of the early 19th century. We'll come to that on Thursday. See you then.